So I took a sales job. It happened to be a directory company which was publishing Yellow Pages, in those days, for the first time in India back then. I don't want to tell the year because then you will know my age. So, and then I said, okay, I'll do my CA while pursuing this job. And within a few months, I decided I don't want to become a chartered accountant anymore. Then came this whole sales job in this company. For 2 years, I kind of really worked hard, and was one of the best performers there. And always used to, I'm a kind of a dreamer all the time. Even when I was a 15-year-old, I did some entrepreneurial stuff also, small time, and things like that. So I always thought, and the beauty about a sales job in a Yellow Page company is you're only meeting other business people. They're all entrepreneurs, and you learn about their business. More importantly, you pick their brain, the way they think. Oh my God, they're so different. And they're so smart, So that 2 years was a fantastic training ground for me. It was like a far superior MBA course, I would say, because in real, you're meeting entrepreneurs and you're learning about very different businesses. I started having this so-called, they say, entrepreneurial bug bitten by that. So I kind of started sounding my colleagues, friends, everybody that I want to become an entrepreneur one day. And to the extent that I used to joke one day you'll see me as a star, I'm going to become this, that, and all that. Or money jaise banunga and all that. I happened to meet a customer of mine, and he said, he's a youngster, a couple of years older to me then. He said, why don't we do this idea differently? So we used to think over hours of discussion. We said, okay, let's do it over the phone, and we'll disseminate this piece of information over the phone. And one good thing is your data is dynamic. You're updating it continuously. Unlike a directory, a published 1-year-old, it's usually outdated, and this is far superior and stuff like that. So we actually launched a company called Ask Me. And another friend of mine actually finally pushed me into, because I come from a Tam-Bram family, which is very conservative. They never do any business. Business is actually a bad word. And they actually work for Tatas, Birlas, or first they go to US. If they don't get a chance to go to US, they work for the government of India or the Tatas and Birlas and stuff like that. So the moment I decided to chuck my job and do this, I didn't have the guts to tell my folks in my family. For 2 months, I actually pretended I'm going to work and actually working on this business plan, and finally started this company with three of us. We were very much ahead of time. Anyway, let me tell you the date. 1989 it was. So many of you were not even born. So in 89, in the city of Mumbai would have had 600,000 phone connections and things like that. So there was hardly any telephone penetration. In fact, PC penetration was very negligible in 89. And within 2 years, although the idea was very good, we were ahead of time, and we didn't have money also in our bank, and we kind of had to wind up the shop. I gifted my shares. Actually, I didn't put any money because I didn't have any money. So my partner who put in money, who came from a reasonably well-off family, I felt guilty. I said, boss, itna nuksan ho gaya, ye share rakho tum, mera, main nikla. Or you try to salvage something out of it. And I didn't know what to do, because by then I had lost my father. I had two brothers and sister to take care of. And I didn't know what to do. But I always thought, by the way, I also got married. Huh? I was dating someone, and she said, my father is marrying me off to someone else. I said, oh, be close, karo. So here is a jobless guy who's married, and he's going to fend his family. That's how the life starts. A sheikh met me when I was doing this Ask Me services, an Arab sheikh. And he called me over and said, why don't you come to Dubai and we will do this in the United Arab Emirates? I said, fantastic. So I just happened to send him a fax and said, do you remember me? We met back then. I was not showing interest. Now I'm keen, said, come over. He sent me the visa and we went there. So I went there and discovered that Dubai in those days was very different, and you had to take government permission. And without license, you couldn't do anything, you know. So I spent about 2 months there to just get the trade license to start this business. First of all, they would not even understand the business, and you have to tell them, and somebody else would interpret that in Arabic, and then it went on, and finally we got the license. And then I said, come on, let's shake hands and let's start the business. And I was under the impression that it would be a partnership. And the sheikh said, well, how much money you're bringing from India? I said, I don't have any money. But I couldn't tell that to him. So I said, Indian government doesn't allow you to take money abroad. Come on. So it's you who's putting the money. I'm not going to put the money. He said, oh, is it? Okay, fine. So I'll send you the agreement, contract, partnership agreement, and you go back to Bombay and you'll get it. And he sent me a nice Arabic contract which said 85% of the company is his, and I would kind of work like an employee with a 15% share, which would not be immediate, but in due course of time. Then I decided this is going to be like getting into some kind of a bonded stuff. I said, forget it. Let me start again. So I cursed myself, probably this city that I'm living in, that back then I was living in Delhi. I said, yeah, Delhi se aaj mere ko suit nahi kar raha hai. Anything I try to do from here, it's not working out. But there was a time I used to visit Mumbai office in Ask Me Days, and I kind of found it interesting and I think I should move to Mumbai. So I told my wife that we are moving to Mumbai. So now what to do? Obviously to start something of my own. So in Mumbai, I called up the Times of India's publisher back then was Mr. Pradeep Guha. I don't know if you all heard of him. He was the one who used to do the film fair shows and all that. So I called him up and said, I have this idea of a wedding planner which can be published by me, but you could distribute it for free to your matrimonial advertisers. In those days, they used to really compete a lot and all. And so I said, oh, that's a brilliant idea. Why don't you come over and meet me? And I sounded this idea to him. He said instantaneously yes to me. So now I have to start a business with no capital. So somehow I managed to gather 50,000 rupees and come to Mumbai and take up a small shack somewhere in Thane city and then take a small cubicle space in Nariman Point in Maker Tower where I could have it make a tower in my visiting card, you know, so I could flash to people like I'm coming from this company, I happen to work for this company. I would not even tell them I own this company. And the office is in Maker Tower. So it was a wonderful journey, worked very hard, but all the time my dream was to start a Just Style, a service, a local search service which is as efficient, like within seconds people get information. And obviously back then it was on the phone, and obviously now we get more traffic on the website, and